conclusione in rete, Andrea Pirlo, un gol pazzesco! Del Piero, no! Alex Del Piero! Sulla compagna di Pogacar, Pogba, rete, un gol incredibile, Pogba fa esplodere lo Juventus Stadium.
Well, welcome everyone to episode 303 of the Turin Giants podcast. We'll be breaking down the 4-1 victory of Juventus over Wydad Casablanca today. But before we jump into that, I'd like to steal the mic because if I'm not mistaken, this is my 50th episode as part of the Turin Giants family. And while that is a milestone that I'm extremely proud of, I'd like to just take a second to explain why. The two main reasons, the first of which and the most important is you, the listener. It's for all of you that we do this, and the Turin Giants community is an extremely welcoming, funny, and engaging community that took a rando from Houston, Texas, and made me feel at home from day one. And I just want to shout out all of you and start off maybe as a special thanks to specifically shout out some of our recent commenters from YouTube, a platform that we just frankly could do a lot better on. So Thomas, Mario S, Mario M from Kenya, Colo99, a constant commenter and contributor of this podcast, and Josh. I want to thank you, all the other commenters on YouTube, all of the engagement from Instagram, and all of our listeners from Canada, Australia, Denmark, Belgium, the United Kingdom, at home here in the United States, and across the globe. We see you and we appreciate you. And the other reason why I'm really thankful is for the Turin Giants team. A bunch of friends from across the world have come together to educate and entertain, hopefully, about a team that we love. And so for the core team, Farhad, who started this so many years ago, Kevin, Frederic, with whom I do the scoop, to our many contributors and the folks on whom we continue to build, Rav, Uncle Gio, the other Zach, Nilesh, Uncle Beppe, Luigi, and a recent guest from episode 302, Jack, who, if I'm not mistaken, was able to bring his kids to their first Juventus game today in Philadelphia. To all of you and anybody I might have missed, I appreciate you. And of course, I appreciate the two gentlemen who are joining me on today's podcast, frequent guests themselves and a member of the Turin Giants team, Damiano and Patrick. How are you guys?
Pretty good, man. Pleasure. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Nice way to celebrate 50 talking about this one too.
I know it's crazy. We got back-to-back impressive wins. It's I don't even know how to feel. It's been so long since we've been able to do this. So it is definitely a really good day and a good time and in a good mood to celebrate this milestone on myself. Before we do jump into the game, we got to do the housekeeping stuff. Folks, please follow us on Instagram, Turin Giants, where we do the bulk of our engagement. A lot of cool reels and stories as well. Mixture of fun content, historical content, and game-related content. At Turin Giants Official on YouTube, like I said, we know we can do better, and we're going to try to do better as well. And of course, you can check out our website at turingiants.com. Cool. I think I got it all out of the way, folks. Let's
yes, sir.
It's kind of late here, so I apologize if I forgot something, but let's let our man Dushan, who found himself on the score sheet today, kick us off as usual.
Buongiorno, 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 buongiorno. Come ha detto lei, buongiorno, buongiorno.
Alrighty, Damiano, I'm going to turn to you first because I was surprised when I saw the starting lineup to see the exact same starting 11 that we saw last game. And my gut thought is 3 games in 8 days, you got to rotate. Were you as surprised as I was? And what was your thoughts when you looked at the starting lineup?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Just mainly, I mean, Savona in the back at the center back position. I don't know if I was really feeling that, but it's good to see him just maybe grow in a new spot. But at times is vulnerable, and also too, it's I was kind of questioning no Locatelli today and to starting the game. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. But other than that, it was pretty I mean, it's kind of a short time, so it's, we can't really, you don't have a lot of time to really start messing around with things. You kind of just come in and handle business, for the first group stages, at least group games, at least.
Well, let me ask you this: with Savona, he played right back under Mota. He's 6'2". He's not the fastest guy in the world. He seems decent on the ball. I kind of figured, and I want you to weigh in on this, Damiano, is his future as a center back, considering his build and maybe kind of how his profile at this age?
I mean, I kind of to be brutally honest, it's like he's just young at it. But I kind of like it due to the fact that, yeah, he's more physical. I see him being more physical at the center back position. He has a little more edge to him. I mean, he just got to learn it, you know what I mean? Or like kind of develop into, but it could be, I believe, it'd be nice. Maybe it could be like the next Chiellini for all we know, who knows? But, I think,
That's
he's a little more,
out.
I mean, like I like that physicality that he's got just, as a center back, but, yeah.
Patrick, what do you think? Savona is his future at a center back position?
I think center back. I don't know about dead middle of the back three, if that's the way Tudor is going to continue to play. We'll talk about tactics in a little bit, but certainly Lloyd Kelly is not the guy to be in the middle there. And it seems like with all the stuff he's doing on the field, that's not Tudor's intention either. I think that's a holding spot for Bremer, but I want to go back to what Damiano said about no rotations. Tudor is used to these guys. There was unfortunately a lot of lone players that recently came back into the fold, a la Kostic, a la Rugani, right? All these players. Rugani is a very seasoned Juventus veteran, despite the loan he had away. I half expected to see him maybe in jest, get some minutes early on, but I think Tudor is going with the guys he had, although it is a little strange seeing Savona in the middle of that back three, but I think it's just a temporary thing until maybe Bremer can be fully healthy.
Do you think that the lack of rotation is the potential to hurt us from either injuries or just exhaustion if we are to go deep in this competition?
I think it's a double-edged sword. So the answer to your question is yes, but I also think the best chance Juve have to go deep in the competition is for Tudor to play the guys that he's been training for the last couple of months, versus trying to rotate in some others who, let's face it, he hasn't seen, maybe once or twice on the training pitch before moving to a game type atmosphere. So I think it's a double-edged sword. The answer is yes. Maybe we'll get to this when we talk about guys like Yildiz and Thuram. It makes me a little nervous come October after these guys have basically no break. And well, we're going to stop there. I don't want to have bad juju.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, ultimately we'll find out soon enough, but that was definitely something surprising. You mentioned tactics, Patrick, so let's move on to that as a topic. What exactly, struck you about how Tudor had the guys playing today that you think was particularly notable?
I thought notable in both games, but there's certainly a clear onus to press in the final third when losing the ball. And part of this, I think, deals a lot on that left-hand side. So we mentioned Kelly. Kelly's like becoming a left midfielder, weirdly. Like this guy is up there for a cross. He's like getting the ball on the touchline. Very strange for Kelly. But doing that allows Yildiz to be just a menace in the middle of midfield. And so it also allows Cambiasso to have a bit of a free roam. So they must trust Savona enough to kind of hold down the fort while Kelly goes forward. But clearly when Kelly does that, it allows the defenders to press high. And even on the other side of the field, you see Kalulu tracking up to like play the ball. If a guy turns the play over, he's getting high up. So this game and the last game, particularly in the first halves of both games, I've noticed high press. One thing I do want to get your guys' take on, and even the audience here, this 3-4-3 that Tudor is employing, I think, check me on this, but I think that's Tudor's style, right? It's that 3-4-2-1, that 3-4.
That's exactly his preferred formation. He generally fits that in everywhere he goes.
So I have maybe a concern or a question that leads into a concern here. So in the small sample size that I've seen, this 2 center mid combo, right? 4 in the midfield, 2 in the middle of midfield. It's been Thuram and McKennie, it doesn't seem to fit McKennie's strengths so far. When Coop Miners has come in, small sample size again, but this two-man midfield does not seem to fit Coop Miners' strengths. That begs the question, is it really just going to be Locatelli and Thuram, maybe Douglas Luiz here and there? Is this style going to really be advantageous for all of our midfielders? Damiano, Zach, like, hit me up with your thoughts on this, because I'm seeing McKennie, who I love, and he is flexible enough to play positions, but I don't know that this is his best spot. I also don't think it's Coop's best spot. I think they're part of a midfield three where they can kind of do their own thing and have two players behind them. They got to do a lot more work here, and we know Thuram's capable, Locatelli's capable, but I just don't think Cooper McKennie fit well in this two-man center midfield.
Damiano, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I think McKennie's play, especially these 2 games. I mean, in the position that he's in, he hasn't been performing or producing like we've seen him this whole past season or continuation of the season that we just were in, whatever. So I think that he it doesn't really, doesn't suit him in particular as Coop. On the other hand, no comment.
And maybe we won't go down the Coop rabbit hole with you.
Yeah, Damiano's favorite
feelings.
No,
I got sentiment. Yeah.
I think one of the issues is that Tudor was asking McKennie to play Locatelli's role. We saw that in last game where he's deeper, and that just doesn't fit his skill set. So if I had to say our starting pairing is Locatelli, Thuram, and I wanted to sub them, I would bring in Douglas Luiz for Locatelli and McKennie for Thuram. And I would, if I'm forced to, sub on Coop Miners in one of the 10 roles to effectively function based on how they like to position as a diamond 4 with your 3-man midfielder. You have the 6, the 2/8, one of which would be Coop Miners playing a little bit deeper, and then Yildiz at the top of the diamond in the 10. That's probably how it would work in practice, and certainly how I would utilize the folks based on their sort of default proclivities.
Just something that I noticed, and I appreciate the discussion. I love McKennie. I like the Swiss Army knife aspect of his game. I don't know that he's super popular among all of our listeners, but I can appreciate the guy for playing every single position and not really being out of sorts. He's an asset there, but from the start, this position does not suit him. It's clear.
Yeah, I think the thing with McKennie is, from a starting perspective, he's not going to start over Locatelli, Thuram. He's not going to start over Cambiaso, Yildiz, Colomwani. We're not going to start him at center back. So it's like, is it right wing back, or is it that other 10 role that nobody has really cemented themselves in? That seems to be kind of Chico's role to lose. But I think Nico's probably ahead of McKennie. You have Weah outright, Costa, who's been impressive. So I think from a starting perspective, it's hard to fit McKennie in as the best 11. But for most of those positions, I think it's fair to say that we would all be comfortable as him being the first guy off the bench to replace any of those guys based on his versatility. Damiano,
the season's long. We're playing a ton of games, right?
Yeah, Damiano, would you agree with that statement, or was that too bold?
Definitely not too bold, but I would say that I definitely like to see McKennie over Lloyd Kelly. Right back, left back, I don't even care. Throw him in the back. It works for me.
Well, he's 6'1", 6'2". He's physical. He's good in the air.
Yeah.
He technically he's not. He's probably never going to play center back.
No, not center back, but right or left back. Worth a shot. If somebody goes down, why not?
Coach,
he has played
Coach
defense,
Damiano.
Right back.
He has.
Yeah, he has played fullback, but Tudor's style isn't really a fullback. The Lloyd Kelly, Savona, Kalulu is a 3-back, giving freedom to roam, as Patrick said, to the center back on the side where the ball is. On the left, Kelly, on the right, Kalulu, which is probably why Savona was put in the middle, is he's not nearly as good of the aforementioned moving forward with the ball. Certainly on the right side, which would be Savona's favored side, Kalulu is fantastic in possession. In fact, top 10 in a couple categories in Serie A this year in possession and progression. So that kind of by default put him in the middle.
I'm nervous with
that three.
Savona in the air, though, right? That's my only concern. If he's not mobile, you need a guy who's good in the air. And coming from being a fullback, transitioning to a center back type role, you maybe don't need to be as good in the air as one of those wider guys who might be a first pressure, right, on some transition play. But when you're in the middle, like you're that cleanup guy, and I'm thinking of Renato Vega, right? That was one of his assets where he seemed to the ball seemed to be magnetized to his head on crosses in a lot of games. And I'm nervous that, and I know we're beyond tactics right now, Zach, but just to go down this lane, I'm nervous for Savona in that aspect of the game where he's playing against a Lukaku type physical player, in the back line there, and he's got to navigate that body and then win a ball in the air. That part is he's not going to be Chiellini in that aspect. I'll say that.
Well, he isn't yet. I think
let him grow.
Yeah, he's not right now. 100% agree. And I think when you looked at today's starting lineup, we were, from a defensive standpoint, really weak in the air. As much as tall as Lloyd Kelly is, he's not that great in the air. Kalulu, his greatest weakness, in my opinion, is his aerial ability. And Savona just doesn't think of the strength and presence yet to win those balls. Let's be real. In games that count, you want to have Gatti and Bremer in there to be fighting for the head balls. Not any of the three that we had in as our back line today. Let's switch gears, if that's okay, because we talk tactics, we talk starting 11, and we have 4 goals to get through. So 5 last time, 4 goals, which is just crazy. We have 9 goals won against in 2 group stage games, which is pretty fantastic to say. Which one, Patrick, I'll go to you first, was your favorite?
The pass from Kolo Muani to Yildiz was such a peach. And that's a striker making that pass. Like this partnership it's a 2-game sample size here. So we need to check ourselves. And we're also playing Wydad Casablanca, which, forgive me for saying that, at least I'm comparing them to like a low-level team in Italy, but they know how to defend teams like Juventus in Italy, right? A Cagliari, a Lecce, those sorts of teams. But that pass is so unselfish. People are so afraid that he's going to take them on. And he did look like he was putting the defenders on the back foot, Kolo Muani, and he just plays a peach of a pass. Yildiz doesn't even hit the back of the net. He hits the side net. This game looked too easy for him. And I hope he saves some of the goals for later in the actual campaign, because man, it's incredible. So that's my answer, is the goal from RKM to Yildiz. And I just loved how unselfish Kolo Muani was, and the finish was clinical, a la Del Piero.
For those who would like to look up a replay, that was the 3rd goal in the 69th minute. Definitely fantastic. Damiano, what was your favorite goal of the day?
I'm glad you picked that one, Patrick, because, man, that one, I was between that one and the second goal from, Yildiz' second goal, that bomb. I was like, man, debating, but that pass, you're right. That pass from Kolo Muani was just beautiful. It just was just beautiful pass, man, and just set him up perfectly. My favorite goal, though, I'm going to go with the second goal from Yildiz, was that rocket. That from it just bounced on the like little hop, boom, rocket, top corner. It was sweet. I mean, that was just.
And that's the easy answer, guys. But like from a pure footballing play, like there's nothing more pure than like a little slotted ball in the channel to an on-runner who just. Oh.
You say that, but on that second goal, you had Cambiasso going on that run, and then he's the one who pops it over the defender, sets it up right for the mini volley for Yildiz, right, Damiano?
True. I mean, I don't know if he was really if it was that much intent there, but he got it off, and it landed towards Yildiz, and Yildiz he connected. Man, he's just connected on that. And I have to say, on that second goal, Kefren Turan actually kind of opened up that in the leading up to the Cambiasso dishing it up. Kefren Turan also had a lot of work to do with that as well, and a couple nice passes in there.
I was on. I'm glad you said that. I was on X after that goal, and there was it was the meme where Dybala and Pogba are touching like the fingertips, and someone said Yildiz and Kefren Turam, and you can kind of see it a little bit. And Pogba's my guy. I'm not sure Turam is there, but the style, they're similar in terms of style, and there's something to be said about that partnership.
And for me, I was really tempted to say my favorite goal was the penalty, because hopefully that's, what, 5 million or 10 million,
Jack
extra
that price
euros
up.
on Dusan, or at least get that sale orchestrated sooner rather than later. But I'm going to go with the first one that was robbed from Yildiz and instead credited as an own goal. I, in my universe, have said it is not. It is the first of a hat trick today for Yildiz. And it, in a lot of ways, was like our goal of the year, where from Serie A, where it was this exchange of passing between Cambiasso, Thuram, and Yildiz, so quick, cutting through an attempted low block, right? This wasn't a counterattack. This was just cutting through defense with pace and with confidence, and to end up getting us, in the 6th minute, up 1-0. And to talk about what both of y'all said on that second goal is, both the first goal and the second goal was due to the trio of Thuram, Cambiasso, and Yildiz perfectly syncing up with their movement and their passing. And I criticize Juventus heavily for their ability, especially Cambiasso, for their ability against Alain to build up down the left side of the pitch, forcing us to go down the right side with Chico and Alberto Costa, which was wildly successful in that game. Well, this game was the opposite. The trio for the first 2 goals along down the left, Colomwani's run before his beautiful pass to Yildiz for the third goal down the left. And that showed us using different players and different methods in both these games to score, which was really encouraging to me. And it all started, for me at least, with that first goal that I still credit to Kenan Yildiz.
I need to add, I texted this in the group chat, but I think it was after the third goal when he hit the Spider-Man. That's a new celebration for him, the Spider-Man celly. Do you guys notice that from Yildiz? He does the little like shoot the web celebration.
It's not the Del Piero. It's not the Del Piero tongue anymore. We got the Spider-Man.
Hey, new season, new Yildiz. But anyway, he's going to the flag, and there was the balloon pop, and I texted the group like, "That's a great celebration!" Like just in the moment, right? Get the balloon, like squeeze it, and like, I'm a man, I got this. That was a great celebration. I love it.
It was perfect. Using the prompt, you know what I mean?
I think, though, one thing I mentioned about in the first game was that we seem way more clinical against Alain than we did during the Serie A season, and of course the various competitions we were in over the course of the season as well. And I echo that again versus Wydad. I think Patrick, you were the one who said, I hope Yildiz hasn't wasted his shooting boots. But I guess one question, I'll toss this to you first, Patrick, because I said your name. Do you think that our finishing is maybe making us look better than we really are?
We're going to talk about reasons for success, so I don't want to get too much into this.
Then let me pause. Okay, the next thing on the docket. Okay, the next thing on the docket, which I texted out to you and none of the listeners know.
Yep.
But is to specifically talk about, at least over the course of these 2 games, if not just this one, what has Juventus notably done well against admittedly lesser opposition? I said in the last episode that when you play weaker teams, your pulls are accentuated. When people who do something really well, it looks so much better because of how easy it looks in comparison. And when players fail to shine or make mistakes, it's that much more apparent because they're not able to shine against weaker opposition. With that in mind, I guess for Patrick, and you'll kick us off, what good things that Juventus has done can we really hang our hat on and take encouragement and confidence into the Man City game and into the elimination rounds?
So I love the spaces that Thuram is finding in that little left-sided midfield channel. You can in the regular campaign of Serie A, when he found himself in those spaces, and don't get me wrong, the Serie A teams know how to defend better than these two, right? That they're Italian teams. What do you expect? But when Thuram finds that spot in that left midfield channel, and he has Kelly alongside him, it's still strange to say that. Cambiaso, and then allows Yildiz to kind of free roam a little bit. That's dangerous. And so a reason for success is, and we should have talked about this in the tactics, is the spacing that Thuram finds with nobody around him. And he's just like, give it to me. Give me the space. I'm going to gobble that up. Guys will commit to him, and then there are options. And 2 of our goals were scored in large part because of that space, whether he carried it or whether he's just being in that spot to occupy defenders to keep an eye on him. So I also said, like you had mentioned, Zach, we are capitalizing on chances, which is not something that we're used to. But I think a lot of that is because of the spaces that we're able to get into. And part of that is the intentionality of, I think, our system, but also we're also not playing Serie A defenses. So I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but also it is tough to break down teams that are just sitting low. Nevertheless, we're still finding Thuram in great spots to attack the defense. And I think that tactic is a huge reason for the success. Quite frankly, the high presses too. And I think we talked about that in tactics, but those are 2 reasons that I'm going to bring up for success. That high press, keep it in that half, that third really, and then the spaces at the midfield, especially Thuram is finding himself in and being dangerous.
He's so cool. I'm going to pass that over to Damiano in just a second, but I think it's so cool to see and talk about a guy like Thuram, an off-season signing for, I don't know, I don't remember exact amounts, 17, 18 million euro, somewhere around there, who has grown throughout the season to be what some of us and many listeners have said was the player of the season, to then, as you say, really describe as the linchpin to our success. Is just, I think it's really exciting to see Yildiz's growth and a guy like Thuram's growth. These are players that we can get really excited about in the immediacy as well as in the long term, hopefully. Damiano, was there anything that you noticed particularly impressive with Juventus's play?
At least this match, I noticed that we were really moving off the ball and actually the defenders were pushing up, and then even though we got caught off sometimes, but pushing too much. But it was just good to see because it really opened up spaces off when we were off the ball, we're moving, and it was just good. And especially in the first half, I noticed that we were really working the ball around. We're literally off the ball. We're running into open spaces, pulling in defenders, as Patrick was saying, and it was good. It's just good movement, I think, all around in the first half in particular. And it's good to see that really from Juve, as a team in general.
The off-the-ball movement under Allegri was non-existent. And even under Mozza, where he's supposed to have this system where people exchange positions and use this sort of interchangeability of positions and movement to facilitate possession, really didn't manifest. And so I think we're finally seeing some good off-the-ball movement. We did towards the end of the season. We obviously did over the last 2 games. And I think we're seeing and reaping the benefits of it, albeit against opposition that maybe is giving us a little bit more space than we're used to. But I think that's core to what Tudor wants to play. I think y'all touched on it from a high press defensive standpoint from Patrick to Damiano's movement off the ball, and you tie in the Thuram point. Really, I think when you combine it, put in that clinicality is really the recipe for Juventus' success these first 2 games. Maybe I'm going to put you on the spot. And I'll start with you, Damiano. There's absolutely one thing that we must do in this next game against City that we've shown over the first 2. What is it?
Don't get caught in transition, and don't on the counter. Don't get caught on the counter in transition, please. Just don't
Is this foreshadowing to your topic, Damiano?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Exactly.
Then let's get into it. So I had asked Patrick to get ready to talk about what we did really well, and Damiano. I guess the question is please walk us through what vulnerabilities, if any, you saw in Juventus's play in these first 2 games.
I think the set pieces, definitely defending them as well as just executing them. Our execution on set pieces, we're lost. It's really kind of almost abysmal. I'm not to be harsh, but I mean this is the time to work on it for sure. But man, these past 2 games, I've noticed the set pieces are really defending, especially towards the end of the game. We're almost lackadaisical. We're almost not not fully aware of what's going on, but we get caught like off guard with our pants down. Definitely. Definitely this game. And even sometimes like last game too, but and our execution is on the set pieces are just not too good.
And what's crazy
and
is when you think of set pieces, you often think corner kicks and free kicks. Well, we got burned today
throw-ins.
on a throw-in,
Yeah, on a
which
throw-in.
also kind of was a transition as well, where we didn't handle the throw-in well, or the transition as they moved it up the field. It's just, I agree with you. It was horrible.
Yeah, and I think like we push up, like we have noticed like the off the ball movement where we're pushing up to like some like where Kelly in particular was pushing up, but it did create some space, and this team had speed. I mean, like speed that blew by definitely Alberto Costa, who did not, in my opinion, didn't have the best game, but defensively, I don't think. But yeah, I think they were on the flank, they were moving like, and we were just like we were just caught with our pants down too.
Do you think Tudor is going to employ the same tactics against City though? Like you mentioned counterattacks. I think Juventus is going to be the counterattack team.
I mean, probably against City, but what I will say is what you kind of described about the transition part, Damiano, is somewhat what a common factor I've seen in Tudor teams. Tudor teams are not known for their bulwark of a defense. They let in goals. It's not a straight outscore your opposition tactic, but they're not built around like a Allegri style defense first mentality. It's certainly not at least how they play, whether that's their intention or not. So I think that might be maybe not in City where I expect a deeper block, but that could be something we will see over the course of this next season to some extent.
For sure, but I think like we definitely had like there was a couple times I noticed where like Alberto Costa was so dragged in. We had like 4 guys in the middle, and that just left that whole wide side wide open. If they just go down the side, it's like we're gonna get burned. I mean, maybe we need to invest in a speed of a quick fullback that's got some wheels on them, but that could maintain, that could get in and just jet back. Or we need to organize a little better.
Yeah,
spacing in between players. I mean, that's what I think we need to work on that for sure.
I think those are really good points, Damiano. Patrick, any vulnerability that really spoke to you?
The set piece stuff really stank last year, it must be said, right? So that's really
terrible.
It's a continuation of that. And it's actually something that as Juventus fans, we got really, really used to during the 9-win season. And even during the Allegri years post Scudetti wins, that was something that kept us not only in games, but won a lot of games, was the late corner kick or the free kick expertise of Dybala, Pjanic, right? There is none of that on this team anymore, save for a couple of the Vlahovic ones over the last few years, and almost no corner kicks. Juventus missed Bremer bad.
We went from, I think, the best, if not the best, the second best dead ball team in Allegri's last year to, if I'm not mistaken, the worst set piece team this past year. And it's just a crazy drop.
A lot of that is Bremer. He's a beast in the air, but also just, I don't know if it's the way they approach the ball, but there's a clear difference between set piece attacking and defending, and Juve are bad at both of them.
Which is look, we can say Tudor's tactics will give up some transition goals, but there's no excuse on set pieces, especially our lack of goals on set pieces. I mean, you have Thuram, Locatelli, McKennie. We'll throw Gotti in there, Savona. We'll throw Lloyd Kelly in there. Yildiz in there, Kolomani or Vlahovic in there. All of them are over 6 foot. Like, we're a pretty tall team. There should really be no excuse not to be able to put up a solid defense on corner kicks and free kicks, and a solid, few attacking sort of plays from corners to get a goal in every now and then.
But those things are effort. Even God bless him, Danilo was really, really good compared to his size on defending set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep. No, I think drive, but also you need to know where to go, right? We've seen, if you watch some of these other games, there've been some well executed set piece routines, like training ground style. And
Exactly.
when we had in the years of Pjanic and Dybala, we saw that every now and then. Like that's clearly from the training pitch. I haven't seen too much of that, and certainly none executed from this team. So that is something I'm actually going to be watching closely. Beyond this tournament, this is something that our next season we have to get right, because it was brutal this last year. All right, so we touched on some things we did. We did really well. We touched on some vulnerabilities. Before we look ahead to the last match in our group against Man City, let's talk about the non-Yildiz man of the match. I don't think it's it's a discussion or in dispute that Kenan Yildiz is the man of the match. He was simply unplayable in the spirit of Casablanca, the movie, and not the team we played. To Yildiz, I raise my mug and say, "Here's to you, kid." So, with that out of the way, we'll go Patrick. Who was your non-Yildiz man of the match, and why?
I really liked. This is a cop-out answer, but I really liked the French trio on all three levels of the game. He didn't really score today, but Kolomwani, I think, is a big piece as to why this style can be played. Right, he's not Vlahovic, the lumbering, I don't like to run fella. Right, the Kolomwani is much more tactically sound in this setup. So even though he didn't score today, he got on the tally with an assist, and it was beautiful. So I love the unselfish play by him. We already talked ad nauseum about Thuram's influence in the game, but even in the back, I know Kalulu, maybe from a defensive standpoint, isn't the standout, staunch Juventus style defender, but he does offer something in terms of pace. He offers something in terms of playing a really nice ball, and he does find himself in spots to press really, really well and keep possession up high on the field. One-on-one defending, balls crossed in. When you're playing against teams that don't do a lot of that, I think Kalulu has a chance to be really, really good. I don't think he was bad today. I don't think he was fantastic today, but I think he was really, really nice. And I think it's helpful for Savona to have some comfort there when we don't know exactly what Lloyd Kelly's doing all the time.
All righty. Now that Patrick took a quarter of the team, Damiano,
I said it was a cop-out. A cop-out.
Who's your non-Yildiz man of the match?
Well, I'm going to go with we're going to disregard the defensive lack of defense right there and the transition on that one throw in. But Cambiaso offensively had a really solid game. And even, I wouldn't say like full on defense, but he definitely just had that one lapse in air that was really noticeable. But, and there's a couple actually now that I'm thinking about it. But offensively, he was really good. I felt like he was really involved with the remaining team that's left. I also do want to point out that Chico's got to stop crying on those. I mean, I don't know. I know this is a little off topic, but he's getting such a bad rap right now. It's like, it just kind of bums me out seeing that, because I really like the player. But yeah, I think that it's going into the season, we have to, hopefully Chico will stop this falling down.
Not that this is gold or anything, but FotMob had Cambiaso as their second highest rating today based on his contribution both in possession as well as getting that assist. All right, I'll go. I really want my man of the match, non-Yildiz man of the match, to be Dusan Vlahovic, showing some effort to get tackled on the sideline, converting a beautiful penalty. But I'll actually go on the fully reverse side of the pitch and say Di Gregorio. He did end up facing several shots. I think we do not talk enough about him, and I think he looked really composed, most notably in possession. At times, Wadada was pushing up, and for long stretches in this game, it seemed to just kind of be somewhat monotonous, maybe a little bit boring, certainly in that second half. And I think his ability to recycle possession and be largely, press resistant was good. And he came up with some really key saves late, especially that near post lay down was really impressive. So our non-Yildiz man of the match would be Di Gregorio. And I think, kicking it out, starting with you, Damiano, since I didn't let any of you choose Yildiz, I think we just go around the horn and just maybe say one quick thing about Yildiz, because it was a truly impressive performance.
I mean, yeah, Yildiz is, his off the ball, on the ball, dribbling. This guy's a stud, man. I mean, I really just loved his play. I mean, solid performance from Yildiz. No, I don't know, Patrick, what do you think?
I mean, that price tag is going up. Not that I want to sell him, but man, that valuation from when Juventus bought him, what was it, in 2019, 20, whatever it was, maybe not even that long ago, or maybe even sooner than that. I mean, it's incredible how in games like this, it just seems easy for a 20-year-old, right? Like we forget he's been around for a few seasons now. We forget he's 20 and really just kind of opening up. And there's a lot of teenagers that get, on the world stage, get called out. I think he's emerging as one of those players. He's not a teenager anymore, but still like an under 23, under 21 player who's really coming into his own. And I just remember Thiago Motta benched him for tactical reasons, and he's doing stuff like this. So perhaps
Motta benched Yildiz and Thuram. It's just there's nothing more to say. Like that.
No, we move on from that. But yeah, the point is Yildiz's valuation just continues to go up, and I see the kid as being loyal to Juventus. I get this warm fuzzy feeling, and I hope I'm right. I'm speculative, but I hope I'm right. I think he just really loves the club. The team, when he scores, the team goes berserk, whether that's in these games or in the season. So that I think he really finds a home here, and I hope I'm not wrong about this, that he just loves the club.
Is he the 10 of the future, Damiano?
I mean, why wouldn't he be?
That was the big question at the beginning of the season. Well, I mean, the number 10. I mean, that was the big question at the beginning of the season. He gets the 10 jersey.
The 10 jersey.
And, there certainly for the first half of the season, there was some growing pains. Is it now, I should rephrase my question. Is it now set in stone as a fact? He is the Juventus 10 of the future.
I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be. I mean, from what he's even like last season, under Motta, but especially under Tudor, he's definitely just really cemented himself. And really, he is. I think that he might also be just because Juve isn't the best team in Serie A or didn't really do much in the past couple seasons. Like, I think maybe we kind of don't have as much cred as we used to, so to say. Whereas if he was on a bigger team, he definitely would be seen, and it would already be like if he was on a Real Madrid or whatever, like it would be like.
I'm glad you said that, Damiano. I'm pretty sure it was our old goalkeeper Szczesny that said, "I see what this kid does behind the scenes, and he's going to be like a Ballon d'Or candidate in the not too distant future." Do you guys remember when he said that?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of, this is jumping the gun. He's had 2 great games in America at the Club World Cup against Wydad and El Ain. At the same time, if this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of his development, perhaps Szczesny was onto something, along with all those cigarettes that he smokes
on the beach.
Alrighty, well, let's lay a beautiful, wonderful, comfortable win to bed and look ahead to the near future. We're 2 wins to the good in our group, which means we have progressed to the next round, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly considering Man City's current demolition of Al Ain, which means that who wins the group is going to come down to, as we all expected, the last game. Currently, as I'm saying this, it is the 72nd minute in the Man City game. They are up 3-0 on Al Ain. In order to overtake us in the standings, they have to score 3 more goals, I think, to equal our goal differential, 4 more in order to, take first place outright, which in 20 minutes seems unlikely. So as we look ahead to Thursday's matchup against Man City, I'll go to Patrick first on this one. Do you think it's Juventus kind of plays for a draw to win the group? Or what do you expect to see from us if we go into that, as it seems likely, as the first place team in this group?
Do you want what I think is going to happen or what I want to happen?
Think.
So what I think is going to happen is exactly that. I think Tudor is going to maybe try to get the first goal. Depending upon how it goes, then things may get a little more defensive, a little more boring, as you say, the old-fashioned Juventus way. What I'd like to happen is you've advanced in the group already. Go for it. What do you have to lose? Go for it. Put them on the back foot and go for it. If they beat you, you have to play another tough team. That's what tournament play is all about. You're gonna have to draw somebody tough to win the tournament. So if I was the coach, which I am not, and so I don't get paid the many millions of dollars that the coaches at the top level do, I would have the guys go for it. But I think Tudor is going to pull back the reins a little bit because we're not playing Wydad next.
The difference in the next round is Real Madrid or Al Hilal or RB Salzburg. I mean, two teams that could on their day obviously take some points, but there's definitely a gulf in class between Madrid and Salzburg. From you talked about our starting 11, Damiano. Is there any players that you would like to see maybe start against City or expect to see to start against City that we haven't seen much of this tournament?
Locatelli and Thuram together from the beginning. Other than that, I can't think of anything else, but I definitely would like to see Locatelli with Thuram there in the middle of the park. And I really don't want us to go into tie or draw, because usually that reaps a loss about 90% of the time. Every time we go into it trying to draw, I think the big difference, though, is getting that first goal, like Patrick was saying, and then kind of regressing. Okay, at least we're ahead. But if I don't want to see us go in there trying to draw, I thought we came to win this competition, according to Tudor, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go out
and Elkin told the boys. I think I brought this up on our like pre-tournament podcast. They were all meeting, and Elkin's like, "Go for it." What do you have to lose? The one thing I could see happening is Nico Gonzalez coming in for Chico. Nico just works a little harder on the defensive end, and assuming that it's going to be more of a between the lines type game, I think Chico makes sense to come off the bench and kind of be dynamic in the last 25 minutes of the game. So I wouldn't be opposed to that actually occurring. And I actually think that Locatelli is going to be arrested. I suspect to see Douglas Luiz.
And I would like to see Weah. I think Alberto Costa was very good in the first game, mediocre today. But I think this could be a game where Timothy Weah, his pace, and certainly getting rested for the majority of the first two could cause havocs down the wing, down the right wing.
And I think they like to play. I think City like to play up the left, don't they? So if Weah plays on the right, that pace is going to be really force them to rethink their mindset. If they like to play up the left and Weah can attack.
So I will note that they just scored again. So the goal differential is 2. As they lead 4-0 with 15 minutes to go. That's our group, though. Group G, Juventus and Man City are going to finish the day. 2 wins, no draws, no losses to decide the future on Thursday. We will play either the winner of Group H or the second place team in Group H, depending on a result in the City game. Currently, and it's weird to say, Group H is wide open. Real Madrid is first, but they play the second place team with the same win-loss in RB Salzburg. And Madrid, if you're not aware, is missing half their team to injury. And Al Hilal, who plays Pachuca, could win and go through, especially if either Madrid or Salzburg lose. So it could be any of those 3 teams that we face. So I'm planning to tune into those, and I would encourage y'all to as well, to kind of pseudo scout out who we might play next, which is exciting. Getting into, we're almost to the elimination rounds of a tournament. I'm certainly excited about it. And I'm sure you all are as well. Any thoughts, Damiano or Patrick, on Group H, the Real Madrid, Salzburg, Al Hilal, and Pachuca group?
I mean, it'd be interesting to see Dean Hoyston again.
That'd be nice,
he looked
yeah.
pretty good today. I mean,
Yeah.
he looks so confident on that ball. He's like so in command. But it's a bummer. It breaks my heart every time I see him. But
yeah, that would actually make my blood boil.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. Okay, well, I think we covered it all, folks. I really appreciate you, like I said at the top of this, all the listeners, Patrick, Damiano, and the rest of the Turin Giants family. I appreciate you all so much. Please continue to engage with us on YouTube. I'll at least do better in monitoring those comments and engagement on Instagram at Turin Giants. And until next time, whether it be in Turin Giants or Frederick and my sort of side series, The Scoop, until we speak again, y'all, Forza Juve.
Yeah, siamo finiti in B, gli unici a pagare per calciopoli. Yeah, e qui non ci piove, che nel cuore di scudetti sono 29. Voglio tutto e tutti, solo per seguirti. Bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero. Un solo grido, dalla curva si alzerà. Bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero. Per 29 volte campioni d'Italia, per niente nulla al mondo.